What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to G-Ball Vision. Today I have another exciting unboxing to dig into for you guys. Before we get started, double check and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I would love to have you here. And before you head out, do me a huge favor, hit that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate it, everyone. And feel free to let me know what you are carrying in your pockets today down in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. So we're taking a look at a Trivisa that I picked up, and this box actually got buried in the big box that I use for upcoming knives that I have to do a video on. This got pushed under a bunch of stuff. I completely forgot about it, and I forgot about the knife, what it was entirely, so I pulled it out just so I could take a look at it. So this has been out of the box, and I'll just give you guys a brief look at what comes in the box. You have a sleeve, a two-stage box, and then we have a QC passed. We have a manufacturer card, pull string pouch, and a microfiber cloth, and then your knife is going to be housed in this foam insert. I just took all this stuff out because I wanted to get a look at the knife, but here we go. We have the Trivisa Corvus is the name of this knife, and this is going to be more for me of a secondary carry, or it's a mid-length type of knife. So we'll take a little zoom here and let's go over some of the specs of this knife. This is going to be a button lock, and the last button lock that I had in from Trivisa was outstanding. One of the best button locks I've ever handled concerning the button lock action. We're going to be getting 14C28N. This has a real high polish coating on it. We're getting this leaf-shaped drop point style of blade. We have a little ramp here with some jimping. We do have a cutout there, and we have a flipper tab, so a multi-deploying button lock, which we see very often these days. And then we have a smooth black micarta here. Does have a little bit of furriness, a little bit of texture to it. And then we have all blacked out hardware. We have a clean show side other than the steel marking. The sharpening choil is okay. Could definitely be better, I believe, based on my expert opinion. We have a micarta backspacer here that has some gearing, and then we have a ultra deep carry reversible pocket clip here. And while we're talking about the pocket clip, let's see what this guy looks like in the pocket using our Issuing Stitches Hank here. And this is going to carry very deeply, and this is going to be in their very affordable line of pocket knives. They have recently moved or expanded to that $100 to $150 range, maybe even a little bit more, but their bread and butter stuff for a long time has been in that $50, $60 range, and that's right about where this is going to sit. If I remember correctly, this is going to carry very deeply, and these are going to be easily accessible, guys. It's not like these are going to be out of stock or anything like that, so if it looks good to you, you can pick this up any point in time. Trivisa, every knife that I've bought from them or gotten in from them has been very well executed, has had great fit and finish, great edges out of the box. Nothing really to do a whole lot of complaining about. And this is going to be another one of those knives, and I'm a huge fan of 14C and micarta. I have a ton of 14C and micarta, probably enough to, pass around to my entire county here. But it's a great combination, in my opinion. You're getting an ultra tough, ultra corrosion resistant steel with a very comfortable handle that is going to be fairly slip resistant, especially if your hand's wet or anything like that. Micarta does a pretty damn good job at keeping its grippiness. As far as the button lock action, like I said earlier, guys, The last one I checked out, can't remember the name, it might be the Aries, was some of the best button lock action I have checked out in a long time, and it was like a $60 knife. Now, we do have the flipper tab, which works extremely well. And then we have this cutout here, which right before I turned the camera on, I was kind of messing with. You can easily thumb flick off that cutout. The reverse flick, it can be done. It's just not the most, I don't know, it's not the most satisfying thing. I don't know if it's because it's so small or because it's up so high, but if you stay low and push out, you can get it to kick out. But if you go to, well, I was going to say, if you go to try to push up, it could be tough because they make that spring very strong in there. But it works. I would say, I don't know if it's an aesthetic thing or if it's supposed to, be a means to deploy the knife. If that's the case, they probably should have slimmed the cutout down and extended it. Would be, you can't just extend it and keep that big hump in it. I would have extended it, made it more like a pill-shaped hole, if you will, and went that route. That way you could get a little lower. It's a little high up on the knife there, but it still can be done. It's just not the most satisfying thing when it comes to the reverse flick. As far as the thumb flick goes, it's easy and feels good. So it's just that reverse flick. I would say the main means of deployment is going to be that flipper tab. Let's go ahead and check that edge. So we have a standard piece of magazine paper here, and I want to check it with my fingers here and see if we get any bite. And it feels like it has a little bite to it. Trivisa typically has come out of the box with a very good edge on them. And it looks like this is going to be very adequate as well. Definitely has a nice slicey edge on it. No trouble whatsoever. Let's go. Yeah, all the way. There's no issues there whatsoever. So it does have a nice fine edge. The main question is going to be, how is the plunge lock and how is that lock strength inside the knife? And that is one thing we are going to check. The last one that I had in was good to go, so I'm kind of expecting this one to be the same. We did check centering. The centering is good to go. There's no lashing and there's no movement in that pivot in the halfway open position. And then as far as the lockup, let's go up and down. There is a little bit of movement in there, not much, but a little bit. And then side to side, a tiny bit of movement, which is not necessarily a cause for concern. But when there's no movement at all, those are the ones that I have found to be very strong. When you get a little bit of movement in there, now there are exceptions. When you get a little bit of movement, there can be some failures, but not always. So there are exceptions to that, and that's not a concrete thing. It's just kind of the nature of the plunge lock and how it's interacting with that tang. To have a little bit of movement is not a huge cause for concern. So we do have positive lockup here, as you can see. Let's just check this thing and make sure. So we give one towards the tip, one towards the tang, and we'll close it and we'll check it again, and it looks like we have we'll do one in the middle. And it looks good, guys. Holding up nice. We'll give it a double, triple tap, and it is solid. So that is good. And I said it last week, I'll keep updating you guys in these types of videos, but it's been a long time since I've had any knife fail. The Remet Rhino is the last knife to fail the lock test, which is impressive because since then I've checked out 50, 60 knives easily. So that's a testament to these production companies really stepping up and making sure whatever lock mechanism that they are using is going to hold up. Now that Doesn't mean there aren't going to be exceptions and failures with certain knives. It's always going to happen. As long as it's not a design issue, it should be, for the most part, good to go. But there's always going to be QC slips. There's always going to be a knife or two or three or a handful that slip through and can fail that type of test. If it's a reputable company and, you know, an honest company, if you get a hold of them about that issue, you have that issue, they should take care of you. And if they don't, well, it's easy to let someone know who can, you know, kind of voice their opinion to everyone else about that, and then they may change their mind. So, you know, we live in a world where if you're not doing something right, you know, no matter what, you know, if you're a content creator, if you're a business, whatever it is, if you're doing something wrong or shady, it can be easily found out about and pushed out to many people, and companies do not want a bad rep as, you know, not taking care of their customers. That's a huge deal breaker for most people. If you have a company and they put out a knife and it has issues and they aren't going to take care of you as a customer who bought their product, that's a very bad look on their end. I don't know how Trivisa would respond. I really haven't dealt with their customer service, and I haven't heard of other people, you know, dealing with their customer service. I have dealt with their digital marketing team, I guess, if you will, or their marketing team. And, you know, they seem like they're all right people, but, you know, I think for the most part, you're going to get a pretty solid knife when it comes to Trivisa. Like I said, most of the models that I've checked out from them have been very good. This would be a recommendable knife if you like the looks of it, you like button locks. You know, this would make a nice little utility user. You can get right up on that tip, use that tip for precise cuts. You can't quite get up on the blade there because of the flipper, but that is the nature of flippers. But all in all, you know, if this is something you've been looking at, or you're looking for a button lock that's going to be solid, I could definitely, you know, see taking a look at this one and making it an option, as well as their sheep's foot. I think it's the Aries. It's another button lock, and it's a sheep's foot, and that is an amazing button lock, guys. If you haven't seen the unboxing for that knife, I will try to link it up in a card, but it is up on the channel, and I highly recommend going and checking out that video if you haven't seen that one and you're looking at a button lock. That'll wrap this one up, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I love hearing from you guys, especially on these newer knives. Hit that thumbs up button for me before you head out. And if you're new here, we release videos every single day, just like this one, sometimes twice a day, on all kinds of different EDC content. Hit the subscribe button. We would love to have you here and a part of the family. Otherwise, guys, I'll throw up a couple of new videos. Go check one of them out. I hope you have an awesome day, and I will catch you on the next one.